Okay, good evening. Welcome to Be Mindful, an event to support the Graf Center for Integrative Medicine at Englewood Hospital and Medical Center. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Deborah Albanese. I'm the Foundation's Executive Vice President.
Oh boy, well look at that. Thank you.
We have, as David mentioned, we have a very special program this evening, which I have the privilege of kicking off by introducing the Chairman of the Board of the Englewood Hospital Medical Center Foundation, Jay Nadell.
You know, we started, the integrative medicine started 7 years ago. Do you remember the first benefit? How many of you were there? Admit it. Here's one. It was at a restaurant called Nisi. You remember Nisi even? They're gone, but you guys are still here. Now check this out. We raised a total, we had 30, 40 people. We raised $40,000 that night. Pretty good, right? Tonight, over 350 people, and the totals are in. You have raised for the Graf Center for Integrative Medicine and for the benefit of our community, $260,000 tonight. Which is really great. Now, I don't know if you noticed them, but there's a TV guy right up here, and that is Dr. Oz. Dr. Mehmet Oz is in the house. Dr. Oz, thank you for contributing, for being here for Englewood Hospital, the Graf Center for Integrative Medicine, and we look forward to your comments in a couple of minutes. I also want to recognize our mayor. Where is he? Frank Huddle, a great mayor and a great friend of our hospital. Thank you, Frank, for being here. Now, when it comes to clinical care, we take a lot of pride in excellence and achievement. And the truth of the matter is, without your support and the community's support, it could not get done. Check this out. The Mother Baby Birthing Center, brand new. The Left Court Cancer Treatment and Wellness Center, brand new. The Kaplan Pavilion, the ED, and now the Graf Center for Integrative Medicine, which is just fantastic. So please, let's give a round of applause to everybody in your support for Englewood Hospital. Now, the reason we've raised so much money tonight, because people ask, how do you do at Englewood Hospital? There's really four main reasons. One is a shout out to the committee that have done a fantastic job of organizing this event. The second are our financial sponsors who have dug deep to reach down into their pockets. The third are our trustees, Tom Center and the rest of our board members, our fellow board members who are here tonight. Thank you. But there's a secret weapon that we have. And the secret weapon we have is, as individuals, we gain meaning by reaching out and having relationships, serving others, and helping institutions who could help the whole community. Along those lines, there are no two people that I know of, no couple, that represents that more than Jen and David Graf. I remember asking them personally, with Warren, will you step up and will you create this Center for Integrative Medicine? And they said, yes, we will. And look what they've done with their drive, with their passion, with their feeling for what it can be. They have done an unbelievable job in taking what was once a fledgling program and making it a major part of our medical center. And it has had deep impacts beyond Englewood Hospital. We're thankful because tonight we have a great honoree in Mark Byron. This will be exciting. Mark has been behind the scenes. He has been fantastic to this medical center, and this is a well-deserved honor. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my friends, Jen and David Graf. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. You're so beautiful. You're so bohemian, chic. You want to know what bohemian chic is? People are like, what's bohemian chic? This is bohemian chic, you guys. So I'm Jennifer Graf. just in case you didn't know. And I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a Reiki master. I'm getting my certification in yoga teacher training. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm a daughter-in-law and a sister-in-law. And I'm a friend. And you're all my friends. Thank you. And I want you to know that integrative medicine has helped me be a healthier, happier person in all my roles. And I'll go into that a little later. But I want to welcome you all here tonight and thank you for your generosity. Bohemian Chic, this is you. You look gorgeous, but inside you're generous and philanthropic. And you understand what integrative medicine is. And if you don't, I'll tell you. Because people keep asking me, what's integrative medicine? So this is what integrative medicine is. It looks at the whole person, not just the body part. It empowers people in self-care. We work integratively with doctors and nurses to make ourselves not just feel better, but do better in our lives. We reduce blood pressure, reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone, increase good-feeling hormones, reduce depression and anxiety, reduce inflammation, and support immune function. That's integrative medicine. It's evidence-based, and it's here to stay. And we just caught on. It's been around for 5,000 years, but we're catching on. And it's, you know, with your generous support that we can continue programs like clean eating cooking classes, partnered with Whole Foods and the JCC, yoga for arthritis and osteoporosis, breast cancer, cardiac and pulmonary, our meditation program funded by the Rogers family, our, how do you say it, NICU or NICU or NICU? It's been a while for me. Massage programs, prenatal, postnatal massage, mother-baby nutrition, smoking cessation programs, acupuncture, palliative pain programs, music therapy. We are doing Reiki in the operating rooms now, which reduces stress and increases, it helps to speed wound healing. I mean, that's groundbreaking. We have corporate relationships with KPMG, Dwight Englewood School, Crestron, Unilever, programs at Temple Emmanuel. We're in the works with the Korean Welcoming Committee, the American Heart and Stroke Association. So if you'd like your company to join us in some way, please see me or someone else. We've got a million programs. I can't list them all, but I'll mention mine, which is the Mind-Body Stress Management course, which is for anyone with a pulse, okay? So do you have a pulse? Come do the workshop. So, and someone just said to me, can I come in? Can I do a massage? Can I get acupuncture? Yes, it is for patients. It is for caregivers. It is for people in our community. It's for doctors. It's for nurses. I do a program for nurses called the Max Shaw series, and the nurses and I work on stress management because if caregivers don't take care of themselves, they get burnout. And that goes for mothers and fathers. So you're all welcome. And there are so many programs I don't even know about. And that's, to me, the best sign of success, because when you can pass the baton to a competent champions, they can run with it, and I can go home and be with my family. So, what else can I say? When I went through my own breast cancer experience about 5 or 6 years ago, I sought out Reiki and nutrition and acupuncture from different sources. I had to go here, there. Now it's all in one gorgeous space. And although the skilled hands of surgeons gave me the medical peace of mind and these bodacious tatas, The loving and healing hands of my integrative medicine therapist gave me the ability to reduce my pain and anxiety. That's integrative medicine. So I'd like to give some special love to our sponsors. Thank you so much for your generosity. And you know who you are. Thank you. I love you. Mwah. To Jay Nadell, awesome Jay, and the foundation office, to the Graf Center staff, you're amazing, and especially to our president, Warren Geller, who took us from a coat closet. I mean, I was begging for rooms to do stress management, to 4,000 gorgeous square feet on the 5th floor of the Berry Building. You have to come see it. Warren and Jay, you breathed life into our vision, and I will be forever grateful. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Dr. Oz. I mean, do you realize who's sitting here? He's the integrative medicine guru sitting right behind me. I apologize. So I want to thank him for bringing the message. And he does bring the message, and he brings it all around the world. So we're so lucky to have him tonight. Tonight, we honor Mark Byron. And I'm going to start crying. And Dave will say more, but I just want to say that we share the same birthday, October 6th. Every time we talk to each other, October 6th. There's also Steve in the room, October 6th. We share my husband. And we share a passion for helping people, right? Don't we? I adore you. You have enhanced my life in so many ways, in our families' lives, and I'm thrilled that you allowed us to honor you tonight. I love you. Last but not least, none of this would be possible without the support of my president and CEO, my dear husband, David Graf. He once called my passion for integrative medicine woo-woo, and now he's steadily drinking a stream of integrative medicine Kool-Aid. But by supporting me, honey, you're supporting hundreds, if not thousands, of people in our community, and I thank you. So now I have the pleasure to introduce to you my husband, David Graf.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. Shh. All right, cool. All right, for those of you who know me, I don't usually prepare anything. Today's important. I prepared something. Whether I look at it, it might be a whole different story, but I did prepare it. First of all, am I a lucky guy? Crazy, right? I don't even know how that happened. I mean, it's cuckoo. The other thing I was going to say is, you know, just to try it on, there's nothing better than doing something with somebody you love to make a difference in the community. You should definitely try it out. It's very cool. Highly recommend. All right. Anyway, I'm going to thank a whole bunch of people, too, really quick. I'd like to thank the hospital. They're awesome. They're really unbelievable for a community hospital to give the love and caring and dedication that they have. Warren is a stud. You should know that. We love Warren. I don't mean that in that way, even though you thought that. He's great. Everything's great with the hospital. You got my acknowledgement? I'm moving on, right? I gotta get this out of here. So I really want to most acknowledge, I'm here to really introduce Mark. So, shh, you got to shut up for this. So, first of all, as he cries in the background, don't worry about it. He's been doing it for 50 years. He's a sap. Don't feel bad about him. It's his thing. Don't get all worked up about it, okay? If it makes you cry, get over it. All right. So, Bai and I have known each other since we were 7 years old. We were best friends. I don't know if you know that. And we played together all the time. We were buddies. We lived next to each other. It was like as close as you could get with two people. And I went my way to California. He went his way to Emory. And one day in 1993, we met at a restaurant at Tootsie's. Do you remember Tootsie's in Fort Lee? They're right there in Fort Lee. And we were chatting up a storm, and Byron, who really didn't know me, and he goes to me, Graffer. He didn't call me Graffer. You gotta come work for me. I'm opening my own business. And I said, sure. And from that day, I didn't quite realize what was about to happen. So Bai became my mentor. And if you knew me then, I really needed a mentor. You think I'm rough around the edges now? I was really rough around the edges. So first thing he did is he calmed me down. Second thing he did is he fixed my grammar. Because Lord knows my grammar wasn't good, as my daughter can attest to. All right. He made me bring 2 pens, a calculator, and a pad to every meeting. And he made it religion. If I didn't, he would throw me out of the meeting. He made me know that the client was always first. And he really turned me into a pretty good schmoozer because I wasn't that good back then. And he really made a big difference for me. We began our partnership, and it was a perfect yin and yang. Right? I mean, Byron avoided confrontation at every move. I was the jerk. And we did that for 25 years. He was the strategy, I was the get it done. He was the inspiration, I was the grounded. He was the fluff, I was whatever. But we were the perfect combo of yin and yang, right? He was really good looking, and I was okay. I mean, Byron, he was the best athlete, the best looking guy. It was not, I wasn't trying to compete with that. I said, this is my mentor, he can be hot, it's fine. So, what was I saying? Anyway, so first of all, I just want you to know, it's a complete honor to be honored by Mark, to honor Mark. So, Mark does not let himself get honored. It's really our honor to honor Mark. Mark is where I'm a little in front of the scene, Mark is a very behind the scene guy. So, I feel so honored to be able to honor Mark. Yeah, I know. Fucking sap. And the other thing is, by the way, the other thing you got to know about our relationship, I know he looks a little fucked up over here, don't mind my language, but don't feel sorry for this guy. The last thing he wants is for you to feel sorry for him. So don't feel sorry for Mark Byron. His mind's as sharp as a tack, and he's the greatest guy I know. So don't feel sorry for Mark Byron. You got that? Because, by the way, just so you know, this is like the only way I could beat him in tennis. Like, I have to find a way. I kicked my ass for 50 years. All right, anyway. Do I have any notes here? Hold on. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. That's pretty good. I won, right? Hold on. I got my glasses. Oh, this is old man stuff here. Hold on. All right. I can't read. All right. So anyway, in a minute, what's going to happen is, so just so you know, listen, Bai, I love you. We love you. This is a tribute to you. The turnout's ridiculous. You let us do this, man. It's sick. You're the best. You're so good, bud. People love you. There's one thing that Byron said to me that I'll never forget. It might sound a little annoying to some of you people, but it's fine. This is what and by the way, none of this would have happened without Mark Byron. So I just want you to know, none of this happens without Mark Byron. There'd be no Graf Center without Mark Byron. All right? He made me and a lot of people a lot of money. And a lot of people in this room a lot of money. And I tell you what Mark did. He taught me something. He said to me, Graffer. He says, Graffer. He says, I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to teach you the difference between getting cash and creating wealth. I looked at him like he was full of shit, like I did a lot. 6 transactions later, And 15 years later, I think I got it by. Thanks for creating wealth for me, my family, and this place. It would never happen without you, dude. If I got a paycheck and a smile, no, man, you taught a lot of people a lot of shit. You did. None of us are a lot of us are not the same, and it means it. Now, I think I would have been okay living in like a hut in the middle of Demarest, in the middle of like Dumont, but I'm okay. I like what I have now, okay? I'm sorry, Demarest, that was horrible. And even Dumont, that was bad. I got my foot out of my mouth, I'm coming back. Okay. Anyway, so in a minute here, shh. I'm done. I'm done. That's my way of saying I'm done. Shh. In a minute, I'm going to introduce Mark's. I can't believe I just got the hook. That's crazy. I was entertaining myself. Okay. In a minute, I'm going to introduce Mark, and his daughters are going to speak to him about him, or for him, which is going to be great. I just want to say one thing you'll see, and I've seen it over the last few months with his daughters, is Mark and Robin have done some job raising wonderful girls. It's no joke. These kids, the way they take care of Mark and their commitment. Where's my daughter? Caroline? You better follow that lead right there. I'm telling you, that's really good stuff. You'll see. Anyway, thank you so much. Bye. I love you. You're awesome. Thank you, man.
Oh, all right. Okay, let's kick this off. Hey, everybody. Woo! Okay, so we're going to read the speech on behalf of my dad. If you guys don't know, people used to call him Mark Twain because of his writing skills. So we don't get the credit. We give him the credit. We're just the readers and the napkins. To all my friends, family, colleagues, distinguished guests, including Dr. Oz, Warren, David, and Jennifer, everyone up here, and anyone else that he doesn't know, I'm just going to read it as it is. He wrote this. Tonight is special but awkward. Usually I'm the one giving the recognition to someone, but tonight I'm being honored and I feel very humbled. I went to the Graf Center the other day when I was at the hospital for a test. The center is beautiful and the work they are doing for the community is essential and meaningful. Thank you, David and Jen, for everything that you're doing and have done for the community. And while I'm at the hospital subject, let me also call out Warren Geller, who's the CEO of the hospital and a stalwart in our community. He and his team make my life so easy every time I show up there. Thank you, guys. So let's first get the elephant out of the room. I'm sure if you don't know already, my health status is not pretty. This is not intended to be in any way a pity party, but just so you all know, I have a very rare, non-reversible brain condition, which drastically affects my autonomic functions such as my speech, my balance, my blood pressure, and other normal mechanics that most people don't think about on a minute-by-minute, second-by-second basis. It also happens to manifest itself in either hysterical laughter, or even at inappropriate times, or hysterical crying, which, if you haven't seen already, happens a lot. Cue the crying. Luckily, it doesn't affect my cognition, thankfully. But this condition is especially hard for me considering I used to think of myself as a top athlete, and now, well, things are different. But I live every day by the motto that I'm fine until I'm not. It turns out only several thousand people in the world actually have this condition, and I guess I'm one of the lucky ones. This condition is so rare that it's even difficult for some of the brightest medical minds in the world to comprehend it. It's sort of like bohemian chic. No one really got what that was, but I think you all managed to figure it out just fine. You look great. This condition progresses over time, which is why my daughters are giving my speech tonight.
While I'm on the subject of this speech, let me thank my family to the 9th degree for all their sacrifices and support along the way here. I couldn't do it without them. Now, on to other topics. The most important thing we can do is something greater than our own self-interests. This is partly defined by how we integrate into the community. Back to that in a minute. I'm very comfortable around the hospital. In fact, this hospital is why we live in this community. My father, our grandfather, moved here to become chairman of the ophthalmology department many decades ago. It was here that I determined at a very young age that I didn't want to be a doctor. I remember doing rounds with my father and saying to myself, there's no scale in this business, not for me. I also remember back when the rules were a lot less stringent than they are today. I remember one night at about midnight, my dad saying, come with me. We came to the hospital to casually pop out a pair of eyes so he could do a complete corneal transplant the next day. So many fun and interesting memories from here. Now back to community. There are so many definitions of community. Some people define it as their office members, others as family members, and yet others as where and how they live, and some don't define it at all. We live in a relatively small and sheltered community known as Englewood, New Jersey. It is by almost every definition your typical community. We have our good and not so good, but one thing seems to be constant, and that is the good that the people are doing in this community. You know who you are, and certainly two of those leaders are David and Jennifer. We all participate at various levels. The first level is our community of one. This is how each of us decides individually how we're going to involve ourselves in our community. Some of us will decide not to integrate much, others will decide to integrate a lot and give for the sake of the greater good. People are role models like Jojo and Jason Ruback, the Ginsbergs, David and Jennifer Graf, Warren Geller, and many others like them who decide to participate heavily. These are the kinds of people that make a difference, a real difference. On a personal level, we, including my family, have chosen to support the Graf Center through our own efforts, up until now, which have been more quiet than loud. That is all part of the humility factor that is most important to me and my family. This is how my choice is made in the community, and I hope that the results are greater for the community than if not. I also hope that in some way, this is perceived as a role model and something to follow.
I hope that by your being here tonight, you see the merit in your role in the community and see your way to support something in the community of importance to you. Hopefully, you will see that the Graf Center is worthy of your support, and if you haven't yet, you will show it. If you have supported the hospital so far, thank you, and it is greatly appreciated. I could go on for a long time. As David knows, I am a motivational speech giver, but tonight is about quality over quantity, and my point is very simply that I want you to think about how you and your family fit into this community and contribute. If we accomplish that, we've accomplished something great. The story of Mark and David goes back 47 years to when we were just kids. I am not going to recount every one of those years or stories, as I wouldn't want to embarrass David, me, or the both of us. We lived next door to each other, and we did everything together. We even had our first business together when we were very young, D&M Snow Removers. At that time, David was getting the top billing, a moniker he again deserves now. We deployed a business model where we would bill for snow removal services in advance of the year and shovel accordingly. David and I, of course, were not the shovelers, but we hired tons of kids in the community and built a nice local business. We simply sold the account and collected the money, not so different than what we do today. We were young. We did not know what we were doing per se, but I think it all worked out. Some years later, I recruited David to partake in my business at the time. It was like white on rice. He took right to it, and we've been partners ever since. This now spans some 25 years or so, a team our teachers always shorted along the way. Truth is, I had my doubts too, but we stuck with it, and all has worked out. Today, David is the proud CEO of one of the most dynamic companies in the nation. He has become a great leader, and the results speak for themselves. Funny enough, David's two life partners, his wife Jen, and me, his business partner and best friend, Both happen to be born on October 6th. Coincidence? I think not.
I could go on all night, but for the sake of getting the party started, I'll leave you with this. Graffer, one of the greatest honors of my life has been working by your side. Through ups and downs, wins and challenges, there's nothing we haven't conquered together. Cheers to David and Jennifer, and to the love and impact they continue to inspire within our community. Lastly, thank you guys all for coming. Let me again thank those that really impact my life at this point, which include my doctors and nurses, support staff, friends, all of you guys, but most importantly, my family, who is by my side all the time, no matter what. Thank you all. Let's have a good night.
So I'm going to sing actually for you. I asked Mark to write my speech, but he said no. So I'm actually going to give Graffer's speech that he never read, which I've got right here. It's actually illegible. It's like Mr. Smith comes to Washington, he goes like this, and I'm not going to even read that speech, and it's blank. So I want to speak to two major themes here. And, you know, my wife is, Zoe came, by the way, who I'll explain why she's here, my daughter, Kara's best friend growing up. And that's how I met Mark years ago, before I knew I'd be speaking here, but everything is ordained. But my wife, Lisa, is Swedenborgian, and Helen Keller was Swedenborgian. And she would say the most important things in life, the most beautiful things in life are not the things you see and not the things that you hear. Of course, she couldn't see and she couldn't hear. But she said the most beautiful things in life are the things you feel deep in your heart. And I want to stick with that theme on two regards. First, I had the honor of going to the Graf Center, which you really should all see, which is a spectacular tribute not just to this community, but to what integrative medicine represents. Now, I have worked in integrative medicine my entire career. I still run the center at Columbia, where I'm on the faculty. But interestingly, integrative medicine, just to define it for you all, is the globalization of medicine. You know, you have that card you have in your back pocket with your bank account on it. You can pull cash out of any place in the world, and we have systems for that. You can watch content on my shows in 100 countries. You can watch it pretty much anywhere you go. But health has remained puritanically, simplistically provincial, and we don't have the ability to spread it globally because we have not incorporated other ideas. What the Graf Center and what integrative medicine stands for is the ability to bring ideas from all over the world, things that have worked sometimes for thousands of years, as Jen mentioned, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, from Mesopotamia, from the Amazon basin. There are all kinds of ideas out there. Many have actually proven to be hugely beneficial in traditional medicine, where I was trained, but others are still sort of making their way towards us. And the whole mind-body element, the holistic elements, are the ones that actually were better established centuries ago, because they didn't have the ability to use some of the newer ideas. And we're beginning to catch up, not quite there yet. And the reason that the integrative centers in this country are so important is they spread that wisdom. But the Graf Center is special, because what you have sponsored and what you're contributing to tonight is changing dramatically. It's a seismic shift in how we're envisioning integrative medicine, because it's truly, truly brought into the hospital. You have real doctors with real credentials, a lot of respect, working together with practitioners with similar credentials in their own areas, and creating models that for the foreseeable future will be scaled and shared all around the place. And I can tell you, David Graf's good at scaling stuff, and Mark Byron, obviously his mentor, is pretty good at it. And that's why what they're building and what you have contributed to this evening, and hopefully will continue to support, is going to be something that will go far beyond the walls of Englewood Hospital and serve as a model for communities all over the country. So kudos to you for that. Let me speak about Mark. I got to meet Mark when Zoe and Kara were little girls, and they were making so much darn noise, so rambunctious, that we knew that they would succeed in life. And I one day went over to pick Zoe up or drop Kara off or something, and I saw Mark bounce down the stairs. You had a very interesting color of sweats on, I'll never forget. Perfectly coiffed hair and devilishly good looking. And I thought, this guy is just so cool. And I didn't know what was going to happen to Mark, and none of us do. But I knew that Mark would leave his legacy in a very powerful way. And Mark, this for you is a victory lap. The 3 beautiful children sitting next to you are the true victory. The individuals in this room whose lives you've touched and influenced, that's all in the bank for you. What you're doing now is leaving us even greater goods. This is the icing on the cake. But when I look at the wonderful children that you brought into this planet and the contributions they're going to make for the Byron family, and this is something I know very intimately because I've lived it and grown up with it, it's something that I aspire in my own life. So God bless you for all you've done. I love you dearly. Mark Byron. Let me bring up Warren, who's, if Warren, I couldn't read his notes, but if you don't mind reading David Graf's notes, maybe you can, if you don't mind. Here they are.
Thank you, Dr. Oz. David, there's one person in North Vale you haven't offended yet. And while the videotape is running, while Jennifer mentioned her anatomy, Jane Nadell and I were not on the stage, we were not in the room, we were not at the event. I just don't want to hear about it in a later life. Hey, Warren, why don't you go up there and follow Dr. Oz, a worldwide legend, and the 3 gorgeous, amazingly talented Byron girls, whose father writes in prose. Sure, I'm up. It's my turn now. I love this family so much. And these guys right here, Dave and Jen, what they're doing for the community is incredible. It was their vision, their love, their generosity, surrounded by their friends and family that made it happen. We're growing like crazy. We've done almost 5,000 visits already, and I promise we'll be up 25% next year. Look, even my kids were born early and under budget. It's going to happen. I promise you. But they grow up nicely, they really do. I need to get something. David and Jen. David and Jen, can you just come up here for a sec?
Good, I'm freezing.
On behalf of the over 3,000 employees at Englewood Hospital, you know you've truly arrived when you get your very own lab coat. Thank you. I love you guys so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer and David Graf.